Hey guys, Zect here and welcome to my new video. Today with the Woosa class showcase. This is the Global Lab test server here and we are able to play her already before her release on Wednesday. And I was really excited for Woosa. I think most of you guys have seen this on the Calphion board. They showed off a lot of her skills already. So I was really excited to see how her skills look and how the class will be. So as always, we will go over all her skills. I will explain a bit what I think, what those skills are, and where I see the class personally, and we will see at some of her mechanics and combos. So first off, I will start with the passives because this is probably something most people will know, DR or evasion. And from the passives, I would say it's definitely a DR class. Obviously, that does not mean you can't make a very evasion run. We have to see when it comes out. But just from looking at the stats and the skills, I would consider her a DR class for a few reasons. We will come to this a bit later. First off, we have the passives with HP and all AP. Pretty basic. And for succession, she has HP recovery and DP plus. So no evasion passives here, as you can see. Moreover, from our passives, we have a 300 stamina passive, what is definitely much needed, one with her movement. And her unique ability is that she can heal allies from heat stroke or burn effects with her rain abilities. And her succession passive is the cloud ability that she summons a few clouds with a few skills. We will come to this also a bit later, how this mechanics will work. Other than that, that was all for the passives. So when it comes to DR evasion, I would consider her DR from the first looks of it. So we start at the top. Pretty much auto attack, nothing crazy to it. Pretty much no auto attack. Then we have staff strike, maybe filler damage, nothing crazy to it. Maybe some filler damage, no CCs on it, no, not crazy damage at all. Then we have Pummel, Frontal Guard, a MP recovery skill, CC only attached to PvE. With a crit rate, you can use it on cooldown. From the looks of it, maybe as a PvE skill or a PvP PvE filler damage. But other than that, also nothing crazy to that skill. But next we have Fandom. It's a DP shred with a 50% crit rate. It's also usable on cooldown, notified during cooldown. You have a stiffness on the first attack with a down attack modifier. So DP shred with stiffness. Re-CC option here to go for longer combos. I don't think this is really could also be like a fast catch. As you can see, you can use this after your iframe ability cancels, so it could be a fast stiffen catch with DP shred attached to it. So next one, we go directly with the succession skills here. We have prime flutter kick, frontal guard on the first hit, floating on the first and the second hit, so you have a safe CC over here. It is also cancelable like this. It reminds me a bit of Slanted from DK, or there's probably also a few other classes. It has a bit of range attached to it, so it's not mid range, but it's definitely also not super melee. As you can see, like the range is quite mediocre, but it's okay to have some decent range on it. So most likely you will cancel this after the first hit. Don't think that you will do the second hit on top of that. But yeah, you have a safe frontal guard CC here. The next we have Wing Beat. This is one of the skills they showed off in the Calphion Ball. Frontal guard trait, no CCs attached to it, 50% crit accuracy rate, 50% crit rate, decent damage, actually really good damage. Down attack, air attack, knockdown and PvE only. It is a bit slower-ish, especially if you go for both hits. But it is a good FG trade with really good damage. So for PvE and for PvP, I guess the skill, especially also because it has, if you look at the cooldown, 5 seconds. If you do the whole skill, you only have a 3 full second cooldown of the skill. You can use it really often. What makes this skill, yeah, pretty much one of those skills you'll probably use the most. And it's a really decent skill, and we will come to... this is also your 100%. Let's quickly go to the BSR version of that. Looks like this. Really good damage numbers. Also, the PvP minus reduction is not too bad for 100%. It's a stun and a knockdown. So for the 100%, I might think it's actually a usable 100, especially also looking at PvE here. The next we have is Fan Kick. Fan Kick's a B skill. It's your AP buff. You probably can use it in combos as filler damage or just as a pre-buff when, like, if you enter a duel or at the start of PvE or PvP combos, or if you go in want to trade someone, you probably will most likely do this skill before. So pretty much normal skill for pre-buffing and combo filler damage. Then we have a second hit over here. It applies Fan Kick's damage times 6, so the damage is actually also not bad, so it might be actually also, yeah, a decent combo filler damage here, or for PvE. We have to see though how usable this will be, but overall the PvP minus damage reduction modifier is quite high, so we have to see how the damage will turn out for PvP, but for PvE I guess it's fine. We have the next skill is Kaleidoscope Swirl. It's one of your super armor traits or super armor abilities. 100% crit rate, max push attack, max 4 hits, and then we have the spin attack with 10 hits. It's an MP recovery, stun only PvE. Med damage modifier, 9% accuracy, 100% crit damage modifiers for PvP are okay-ish for a skill like this. Looks like this. Reminds me a bit of, there's a skill of Nova. She has like something similar. Reminds me a bit of that skill. Yeah, pretty much as a trade skill, or if you want to get your resource back for PvE, it should be usable for both situations. We have then Prime Thunderstroke, what is a ranged, mid-range CC bound that also summons your cloud passives. We had this passive earlier that you can summon clouds with this class. It has okay damage, but the damage is not the important thing here. You can cancel it with the iframe. It looks like this, and as you can see, it will summon one of the clouds, but we will come to the clouds effect a bit later when we are done with all the with the skills. Then we have Prime Cloud Carve. Also, if we have a frontal guard skill here again, you will see that she has a lot of frontal guards, like kind of stationary frontal guard skills. They like overall your skills itself, like the attack skills, don't move you that much. She has good movement skills, but like the attack skills itself, they're mostly stationary. So yeah, we have a frontal guard trait here with 20 minus float only in PvE with an air attack. Okay modifiers for PvP. It looks like this. This is the uncancelled version though. There are ways to cancel the skill in combos or after movement skills. Next we have is Plum, Prime Sogia Plum. This has a unique Cloud Rise effect. So if you have your cloud summoned, this will be a stiffness then. When the cloud is summoned, we will come to how the cloud works after we are done though. The skill itself has decent damage, 100% crit, 14% accuracy rate, and it has a recovery 100 HP per hit, what is really good. This is really, really good. It's pretty much 800 HP if you hit everything, so pretty decent skill overall. So then we will come to the next skill, what is Prime Bamboo. This is your forward X. It's also a frontal guard trait with a 20% crit rate for 10 seconds, so it's a crit rate buff. It looks like this. The range is a bit meh. It has flow skills to it though. It will probably be a trait or usable for combos. If you hold down X, you can see you use all of those skills in one go. So if you just press forward X and then you just hold X for Xbox, you flow all those skills together for FG. It is quite stationary though, so you have to be careful to not get caught in that. Yeah, as you can see, this is the flow skill. after bamboo. So the next is we have Crescent, Prime Crescent. It's a movement speed debuff and a movement speed buff for your allies and debuff for your enemies. It also has the Cloud Rise effect. Okay damage, I would say. 12% accuracy, 50% crit. Sorry, that was the wrong one. Looks like this. The range is okay. Okay, yeah, we summoned the cloud there, but we will come to this a bit later, how this effect works with the cloud, right? Overall, decent skill though. However, I will say though, the range is not that crazy. So for buffing or debuffing the enemy, I think in 1v1s for debuffing is okay. Buffing your enemies, buffing your allies will be possible, but not like in a big AoE. So you have to use this tactically, strategically, like position yourself correct to buff your allies with that. Then we have Prime Orchid, Frontal Guard again, Frontal Guard trade if you want to call it like that. 100% crit, 50% accuracy rate, decent damage again with the Cloud Rise effect as well. It looks like this. This is one of the skills you saw this earlier already. You can chain this together with the bamboo. If you go with the forward X and you just hold down X, you do all those skills together for more damage and for cancelled versions. Then we have the Prime Stormfall. What is also one of the skills they showed off in the trailer. It's a stun on the first hit. That's important to notice. It's not the stun during the whole skill. It's only on the first hit, and the knock back on the last hit. It has good damage. However, it also has a really high PvP minus damage for PvP modifier. It also has a unique Cloud Rise effect, but we will come to the Cloud Rise effect in a bit. Then we have Prime Cloud Rise. Oh, already, let me quickly show this skill. You can also cancel it, looks like this. Pretty decent skill if you ask me. Yeah, PvE for PvP as I trade. Or you can actually also use it as a catch, because if you have a look, you can, like on the first hit you have the stun. You can instantly do this after the iframe. So you can actually use this as a catch, I would say. Like it's you can definitely use that as an AoE catch. You have a flow attached to it. No, sorry, that's the next skill. Cloud Rise, we have, it's LT. It's also one of your SA trade skills. Decent damage. And it has, it lasts, like you can cast it and it will stay there. It has an AP minus for 10 seconds for 20 AP. That's a lot. It looks like this. As you can see, you can just leave it there. It will deal damage. So this is really nice. There is a flow attached to it. It's called Stormbolt, and this is it's really nice. It's slow for attack speed and casting speed. So with the other skill, you actually have 30% slows in this kit, what will make her like especially in 1v1s, I think, since a lot of classes got nerfed with their slows, there's not that many 30% slows anymore in the game. So having this is really nice. You can also use that flow as a standalone after, like let's say you casted this, you go into your iframe, you press this input again. This, as you can see, you did the flow over there. So we can quickly showcase this again forward, so it looks a bit better. So you cast this skill, and you can use the flow after this, or if this skill is on cooldown, you can iframe, and then you should be able... Okay, so you have to do it actually. So let's say you cast this one, then you cast the flow skill, and this one is a slow. What is really strong in my opinion. It's really good to have a slow and a 30% slow in the kit. Then we have the E-buff. E-buff is 25 AP, crit rate, all DP, MP recovery for some reason. Haven't seen this on an E-buff ever, I guess. I'm actually not sure why we have MP recovery on that. You get also 1000 HP with 30 seconds, so during the duration you get 1000 HP extra, which is really nice for everything pretty much, but especially also for trading. Other than that, it's a damage buff and tankiness buff. For traits, we can also already see here there's no evasion passive, so it will most likely be a DR class. However, I guess when you come from PC and not from console, where we have kind of with evasion, it's a bit meh at the moment because we are missing a lot of stuff. I guess you can also make it work with evasion and use those DP buffs to buff your tankiness even further. For the secondary skills, we have the forward guard Q block. It's pretty much normal Q block. Q block gives you 15 DP if you use it for 10 seconds. Other than that, there's nothing. It's a stationary one, so you don't have to hold it. What's nice in some situations, I guess. Looks kind of weird in my opinion, but yeah, normal Q block, nothing too crazy attached to it. There is a flow to the Q block. I don't really understand. It's called Boomerang. It has pretty much no damage. I mean, it has no PvP minus reduction, so maybe the skill actually does some damage. We have to see though when it comes live. Other than that, there's no CC attached to it. If you press RB after that, it looks like this. You can use it. Since it has no PvP minus, it might actually do some damage in PvP. We have to see though, but other than that, I don't see the skill super useful. Rain's Thirst. So, let's come to one of the most broken mechanics for the Woosa class. This skill has a 20-second cooldown. I want you to remember this. 20-second cooldown, yes. You get a PA for 4 seconds. So, 16-second downtime as soon as when you use the whole skill, right? Until you can use it again. You absorb actually all damage that is applied to you in this time. And then you can release the damage with any skill outside fan trainings is the auto attack. However, the damage you can do cannot be higher than your max HP. We have to see. Oh yeah, the absorbed do will be lost if you are hit by a debuff. That should be also. Okay, that's actually not too bad then. Like if you get debuffed, you lose the absorb damage. Is probably also a reason why you have so many FGs in the kit. So if you absorb, like it looks like this, it reminds me a bit of Hush Hush Mirage. So you have your PA, as you can see. You absorb all the damage that is dealt to you in the meantime, and then you can release the damage with any skill outside the auto attack, what is really good. But like the skill said, if you get debuffed after you used it, you will lose those stacks, and it's also it lasts 15 seconds. 15 seconds is quite long in a battle, but I guess you want to use it relatively fast because these days you will get debuffed by pretty much everything. Like one SA skill, there's one debuff attached to it, and also if people know that, will get used to the Woosa class and fight against you, you most likely want to go, like, I don't know, with that, and then go with the iframe wing beat maybe to prevent from getting hit by any debuffs, and apply the collected damage with a frontal guard trait or with one of the other frontal guard traits. So, but this is just suggestion. I don't know if this actually will work. We have to see when it comes live. But just looking at the skill, I would just consider this might work. We have then next the Flittering Step is this fancy looking skill. It's 10-second cooldown, super armor and iframe, no collision. It really looks cool. I like the skill a lot. Gives me this Asian vibes a lot. Looks really cool in my opinion. I like this a lot. You can't cancel this with a normal iframe. You can cancel it with skill slow like this. After every I figured like after every iframe part of the movement, you can use one of your SA skills or any other skill to actually cancel that skill. I haven't figured out how many and what skills they exactly cancel this. But I guess we will find out on Wednesday when people start playing it and getting used to it. So the next thing is we have Tiger Fly. It's a float to that. It is a bit of like, I would say, it's not a block jump, but it's a block jump kind of thing. So what it does, it kind of teleports you if you have a target behind the target like this. You are super armored. There's no CC attached to it though. So it is useful to, like, let's say, come get behind your enemies and then use like one of your SAs like this I use this as A there because it's your super armor catch on the first hit. So this is actually super viable option to get behind people's FGs, to get behind people in general. You can also use it after this skill over here. As you can see, you just have to press RB. For PlayStation would be R1. So it's a really nice skill. It opens up a lot of mechanics and outplay potential, especially because it's safe. But we have to see how people will make use of it. But I think it's a really nice thing to have. So one thing I want to quickly say about the iframe, about the normal iframe. So as you can see, she walks a bit after the iframe. I found this to be really irritating a bit. It's a bit weird. I guess people will get used to it after a while, but it feels a bit weird. She's just walking a bit. The iframe lingers like a little bit, as you can see. If you side iframe, you get a super armor. On the forward iframe, you get no super armor after that, but it lingers a bit. So, but not too long. So you can't just stay in there. But it's definitely a lot of decent iframe options you have there. If we look at the iframes, you have this one on a 10-second cooldown, what is super armor iframe. Then you have the flitting step, what is iframe to super armor on a 3-second cooldown, with a chain invincible super armor on a 3-second cooldown as well. Both consume 150 stamina. And then you have the Yang Band step, what is forward RT. It's a forward iframe with a 3-second cooldown on a requirement stamina of 200. So you can double iframe into forward iframe into this, for example. What gives you decent iframe options, in my opinion. However, it is kind of stamina consuming, so I guess you can't spam those iframes all the time. But I do think, though, if you combine this with your SAs and with your FGs, you can maintain stamina quite well in this class. It's like always, people need to get used to that. But if you combine all the skills together with this movement part of the kit, it will be a really fast kit with a lot of iframes, especially where the outplay potential for this kind of movement is really high. Reminds me a bit of Section Hush, to be honest. Not Soak, it's not like Soak, but she will be hard to catch, in my opinion, especially with all those iframes attached. It's not bad. So let's see Silent Strike. We didn't have this one. It's a forward B stiffen. So let's say you get a catch with this skill, and you get a bound. You can get a forward stiffen, re-CC. Kind of, if you get a catch, you can capitalize on that catch with that skill. It's really nice to have like a stiffness option like this, to just close the gap and go in front of your enemy, and then go with the knockdown float or whatever you want to use to just start the combo or whatever you want to do. So let's see. Then we have Cloud Flower. It's a hotbar skill. You can use it while mounted. However, it's a hotbar skill. You have to put it on your ring menu. It looks like this, and it also summons the cloud. As you can see, it is since it's a hotbar skill. Or I don't know how it will be for PC, but on console we can't cancel with anything. It will be slow, so there is no, like, even if you iframe and you do that skill, there is no cancel for it. It will be slow. It will be most likely not used for the catch. It's probably just to get the cloud off, because it summons the cloud on this location. So yeah, this is just what I think what this skill will be. So let's come quickly to the cloud passive. So the cloud passive itself, Quiet Waters, it summons after Prime Thunderstroke, after Prime Cloudcraft and Cloud Flower. It summons those little thingies over here, like those clouds. They last, I think, 15 seconds it was. And when you go back to your skills that have like those effects on it, let me quickly come to this one, for example. I think it was back RB. Yeah, this was a good example. The Cloud Rise attack damage, and it has a stiffness, and it has a magic DP for 10 seconds. I quickly show you how this looks. So you get the cloud off, you use a skill that has the animation, and then you get this, as you can see. It is a stiffness on every hit. So the potential of a CC in this kit is really high because of that. So whenever you have like one of those cloud summons, you can go with any frontal guard F trait that has this, and everyone that's standing in there that's not protected will get CC'd from a stiffen. And after that, you can, I don't know, come with this skill to capitalize on that stiffen. But this mechanic makes this class really dangerous, especially also for 1v1s. I see this really useful. Let's say you have a class that lingers a lot of SAs, right? You can cast this cloud on top of them. They have to be really careful. If there's any gaps in movement parts of those of classes, then this will be punished by this mechanic. I don't know how crazy this will be for large scale, and in general how crazy this class is for large scale. However, I think since you have the ability to actually absorb the damage, this class will most likely be a burst class. And it probably also will deal a lot of damage. It will deal a lot of damage. You don't have a grab. You have limited safe CC options, I want to say. You have 2 safe CCs by default. You have a frontal guard float, and you have a super armor stun, and on the last spec it's a knockback. However, obviously with the Cloud Strive effect, as you can see, this skill also has a different Cloud Rise effect with a stun and a movement speed. So let's say we summon our Cloud here, right? And then we go, we have the Cloud in the air. We go with this skill. You will see it summons the lightning, and this is then a stun instead of a stiffen. So that should be really high damage there. And especially because with this particular skill, if you have the cloud up, it summons the lightning from the cloud during the whole animation of the skill, as you can see. So this will be a lot of burst damage or trait damage, whatever you want. But yeah, you have to be strategic with your clouds. You have to position them. They can't move. So let's say you get a cloud over here and your enemy moves. This cloud will stay there. So you have to be careful with positioning and getting those clouds off. But basically, this was the showcase for the Woosa class when it comes to the skills and explanations. Where I see this class, actually in 1v1s, I think it will be better than I first thought when I first looked at the kit. I was like, it has a lot of FGs. FGs these days are kind of easier to punish than it used to be. However, with the really good movement you have a lot of 5-frames. You can cancel most of the things, so you'll be absolutely able to dodge like most of the damage that's coming in. You have like a block jump kind of mechanic where you can get behind the enemies. You have a disengage or engage with this skill over here that moves you quite far. Other than that, you don't really have any options that move you quite far. But so she is kind of limited in her like movement abilities. It will be probably a class that will struggle a bit against classes that can kite a lot. So I don't know how it will be, for example, against an archer that stays on range, or also like a Woosa that stays on range. Since you are quite limited when it comes to your long range movement options. You only really have this skill over here, and then your 2 iframes. There's not that much else, and you also consume a lot of stamina, right? This class will probably not be like the craziest when it comes to long range movement. However, if you are in your little box and people try to approach you, you have a lot of options to CC them, to dodge the damage, to apply a lot of damage, apply debuffs, and this is actually one of the succession cats that because of all the mechanics, I like a bit more. I'm a bit sad that's not evasion, because I'm an evasion player. I would try it out regardless to see if it works with evasion, but like by default I see this class in being DR. And with a damage absorb mechanic, getting a PA up every 20 seconds, or let's say every 16 seconds, because your PA ends at around 16-second cooldown timer for this skill, is quite big. Even though you maybe don't want to use the absorb mechanic, you can just utilize the PA, what is really fucking strong. And if you get a lot of damage during the meantime, you can capitalize like one of the FG trades. I would definitely not go with an SA trade after that, just because I don't know how this exactly works, but it says if you get debuffed, you lose your stacks. So I don't know if you lose the stacks already if you activate the skill, but we have to see how it works in the end. But this mechanic is really fucking strong. I don't know how crazy OP it will be, if it will be a meta-breaking class. It could be, depending on the damage, if it will just be one-shotting everyone left and right because of those mechanics, then it could be annoying to deal with, but we will most likely see some balance patches in the near future. If you have any questions, guys, regarding Woosa, leave them in the comment section. We will get this class in 2 days. I'm really excited to play it. And yeah, leave a like and a sub, guys. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see us in the next one.